call to order the regular meeting of the President and Board of Trustees of Machesney Park, Illinois for Monday, January 5th, 2015. Please stand for invocation led by Village Clerk Lori Mitchell and Pledge of Allegiance led by Trustee Eric Beck.
Let us pray. As the new year begins, let us make a resolution to work together as a board toward a common goal of good for the residents of the village. Guide us as we embark on a course of growth and make us aware of the impact of our decisions that they will have on all people. Watch over all those charged with protecting us, teachers, firefighters, law enforcement personnel, and especially the men and women fighting on foreign ground for world peace and freedom from tyrants. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk take a roll call, please?
Mayor Boland.
Here.
Trustee Snodgrass.
Here.
Tammons.
Here.
Kidd. Wilson.
Here.
Yo.
Here.
Beck.
Here.
Clerk is present. The attorney is present.
Thank you, Lori. We have a quorum. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes from December 15th, 2014 board meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Are there any discussions or changes? I see none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. Next we have Treasurer's Report. Steve Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. This weekly Treasurer's Report reflects what the village received in MFT funds of $51,637.48 and billed Machesney road funds of $227,495.64. The total of all funds this evening is $6,279,144.20. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I'll entertain a motion to accept the Treasurer's Report. So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any changes or discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer's Report accepted. Next we have Communications, Village Clerk Lori Mitchell.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a reminder, the village is accepting Christmas trees for recycling behind Village Hall over by the police department January 15th. And also, all trustees are asked to stop by my office during the next 2 weeks to review closed session minutes. On January 20th, the board will go into closed session to review those minutes and discuss which should be released in our semi-annually reviewed board or closed session minutes. And I believe that's all I have tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you, Lori. Next we have warrants. Trustee Snodgrass.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to present warrants in the amount of $1,095,770.19. They were reviewed and recommended for approval earlier this evening at the Administration and Finance Committee meeting, and I move for their passage.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Is there any discussion? I see none. Will clerk take roll call, please?
Trustee Snodgrass.
Aye.
Tammons.
Aye.
Kidd. Wilson.
Aye.
Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays.
The warrants have been approved. Next we have administrative reports. Attorney Green.
I have no report.
Thank you, Attorney Green. Next we have Community Development Coordinator Lucia Madlock.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to report that the enterprise zone application was delivered to the DCEO office, and we will be notified by September 30th of 2015. If approved, the zone will be effective as of January 1st, 2016. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next we have Harlem High School student liaison Justin Porter.
Thank you, Your Honor. The activities for this week include a wrestling event at Guilford on the 8th at 5:30, and a homeboys basketball game against Boylan on the 9th at 7 o'clock. And next week, there's a homegirls basketball game on the 13th at 7 p.m. and a boys wrestling event at Hananiga on the 16th at 5:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Next, we have Public Works Superintendent Chad Hunter.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just wanted to let trustees know that yesterday morning, while plowing, one of our Public Works employees had a vehicle catch on fire. Everyone was okay, but the truck was a loss. We'll be researching vehicles here in the next couple days and then bringing a resolution to the board at the next meeting for a purchase of a new vehicle. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Next, we have Public Safety Coordinator Rocco Wagner.
Thank you, Your Honor. From the period of December 12th through the 29th, Sheriff's Department responded to 779 calls for service, which generated 304 police reports. We made 162 traffic arrests, which included 9 DUIs and 49 criminal arrests. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Rocco. Next, we have committee and trustee reports. Do we have any reports this evening? We have no reports this evening. The next item for consideration is the consent agenda. Are there any items that a trustee would like removed from the consent agenda separately? I see none. The consent agenda is accepted as presented. I'll entertain a motion to approve all items under the consent agenda.
So made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Thank you. Item A is ordinance 0115, a variance for a freestanding sign from 100 square feet to 144 square feet in area located at 7507 North 2nd Street, and this is the first reading. Item B is resolution 01R15, a resolution authorizing the village engineer, I'm sorry, not the village engineer, to authorize the village in entering into an agreement with the Department of Revenue, providing for exchange of information regarding the retail occupation tax. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Tim. Is there any discussions from the trustees? I see none. Would the clerk take roll call, please?
Trustee Tammon.
Aye.
Kidd. Wilson.
Aye.
Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Mayor Boland.
Aye.
7 ayes, no nays.
All items under consent agenda is approved. Next, we have new business. Item A is ordinance 02-15, a variance freestanding sign area, height and base for 1590 West Lane Road. First reading. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So made. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. This ordinance is to allow Speedway Auto Mall to reconstruct their old sign, which needed to be relocated due to the widening of Route 173. Village sign regulations dictate this type of sign cannot be taller than 10 feet or larger than 100 square feet. But this sign in question is 28 feet tall and 304 square feet in size. Also, it does not have a conforming enclosed masonry base. Staff, the Planning and Zoning Commission, and Planning and Economic Development Committee all do not recommend approval of this variance application. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Is there any trustee discussions? I see none. Would the clerk take roll call, please?
Trustee Kidd.
Nay.
Wilson.
Nay.
Yo.
Nay.
Beck.
Nay.
Snodgrass.
Nay.
Tammon.
Nay.
Mayor Boland.
Nay.
No ayes and 7 nays.
Motion for ordinance 02-15 has failed. Next, we have item B, ordinance 03-15, ZMA from R3 to CN for 5161 Zenith Parkway. First reading. I entertain a motion to approve.
So made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Yes, thank you. This ordinance is to rezone a vacant parcel that actually fronts on Forest Hills Road. The parcel is .74 acres in size, and the property owners wish to rezone it to commercial neighborhood district. I want to point out that in your board packet, ordinance 0315 is not the correct version. This mistake was accidentally made because the request had originally been to rezone to commercial general, but at the committee meeting, it was changed to request to rezone to commercial neighborhood. The correct version of the ordinance was passed out to all of you at your desk earlier this evening. The property owner also owns an auto repair business just south of this vacant parcel that's actually located in Loves Park. And they would like this rezoning to be approved to allow accessory storage on this vacant parcel for their business. As I said, the request was changed to commercial neighborhood at the Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting, and at that meeting, the committee did recommend approval of the zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Is there any trustee discussions? I see none. Will the clerk take roll call, please?
Trustee Wilson.
Aye.
Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Nay.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Cameron.
Aye.
Kidd. Mayor Boland.
Aye.
6 ayes, 1 nay.
Ordinance 03-15 has been approved for first reading. Next, we have item C, ordinance 04-15, amending the Village of Machesney Park, Illinois Code of Ordinances regarding administrative fees imposed for seizure and impoundment of motor vehicles, first reading. I entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a very straightforward ordinance which simply provides for the increase in the administrative tow fee from its current amount of $200 to $450. And that was in anticipation of the county, Winnebago, dropping their current fee of $150. After the review of the committee, which received a negative recommendation, it is our proposal that we amend this ordinance to increase the total fee that the village charges to $350 in anticipation of the county dropping their $150 fee. So the net increase would be zero to any individual that would have their vehicle towed. That's really it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Is there any trustee discussions? Trustee Tammy.
I would like to make a motion to amend the ordinance 04-15 to reflect the fee remaining at $350 for the total fee for residents.
Thank you, Trustee Tammy. And I have a motion to amend ordinance 04-15 from $450 to $350. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Do I have any discussions? Will the clerk take roll call, please, on the amendment?
Okay. Trustee Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Cameron.
Aye.
Kidd. Wilson.
Aye.
6 ayes and no nays.
Ordinance 04-15 has been approved as amended from $450 to $350 for first reading.
That was the amendment.
The amendment.
It's been amended, now you need to
Okay.
vote on the main motion.
Okay. Now I present ordinance 04-15 as amended.
We just needed a further discussion.
I just need further discussion or vote. Any discussion? I see none. Will the clerk take roll call, please?
Trustee Beck.
Aye.
Snodgrass.
Aye.
Cameron.
Aye.
Kidd.
Aye.
Wilson.
Aye.
Yo.
Aye.
Mayor Boland.
Aye.
7 ayes and no nays.
Ordinance 04-15 has been approved for first reading as amended. Next, we have Resolution 80-R-14, resolution approving a real estate sale and purchase agreement within the North 2nd Street TIF District. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Trustee Young.
I move to approve Resolution 80R14 with the following stipulations. Number one, that administration finds the building suitable for use as a public works facility. And number two, that an appraisal be obtained confirming the appraised value greater than the purchase price. If both items are not confirmed within the due diligence period, the administration is directed to terminate the contract.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could I have staff report, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. You have before you a resolution as amended authorizing execution of a purchase agreement for the 10-acre parcel and building currently owned by J.C. Penney Property, Inc. Until now, discussion of this initiative has been handled by necessity in closed session in order to negotiate a fair price and as provided for by state statute. I'd like to turn it over briefly to Attorney Green to talk about that closed session process.
Thank you, Tim. As I think most of the trustees know, closed sessions are allowed under statute, and there are certain defined items, and there's both closed sessions for meetings, and then there's the Freedom of Information Act, which allows the village to deny requests for certain items if that is appropriate. Probably the most common two of those are personnel-related matters. We're allowed to go into closed session and talk about personnel-related matters, and we are not required to turn over much of the documentation relative to personnel matters. I use that by example. The second is probably real estate. Real estate transactions, very common. The state statute allows for the negotiation and discussion with regard to the purchase of real estate to be handled, at least initially, before approval by a full board, to be done in closed session. And the obvious reasons for that are if, and this has happened in the past, and this is why the statute provides for the ability to go into closed session. Once disclosed, if you're not at a point where you're ready to make a deal with the seller, it's possible for private entities or private individuals to identify parcels that a municipal or a government entity may be interested in and make efforts to gobble that property up and then turn around and look to sell it to the governmental entity at a profit. Also, it's very common, and especially in a larger transaction, where the seller wishes to have much of the details of the transaction remain confidential, and that would normally occur if a private company was selling to another private company or an individual was selling to another individual. They had no requirement to make detailed disclosures of all of the aspects of the purchase. And so that's why we are allowed to do it. That's what we have taken advantage of up to this point. And there, even beyond this point, if the ordinance is approved, there will be a certain level of confidentiality even as the transaction goes forward from here until such time as we're able to, again, if authorized by this board, to close the transaction and complete it. I'll turn it back over to Tim for some further information.
Thank you. So, the planned uses for the property are based on a continuation of the success we've seen with previous redevelopment initiatives and as laid out in the Town Center Master Plan. Those redevelopment successes include renovation of the 110 square foot retail space that houses Big Lots and Burlington Coat, as well as a $7 million investment in renovation by Practice Velocity of the former Kohl's building that retained or created over 250 jobs. Continuing with that mixed-use concept, plans for the building and land include renovation through private partnership of the front half of the building to house approximately 40,000 square feet of inline retail space, and portions of the back half or western half of the building to be held for future commercial office use. The remainder of the building will be used to house the Public Works operation, which is currently operating out of what is essentially a 4-car garage. For nearly 3 years, we've been exploring options for housing the operations of the Public Works Department. The JCP building offers an excellent opportunity that is adjacent to the Village Hall, centrally located, and presents a good value. Our in-house estimates for construction of a 7,000 square foot building north of the Village Hall were coming in at nearly $600,000, with engineers' estimates coming in at over $900,000. Portions of the JCP building that were once used for auto repair can be outfitted for immediate use by Public Works for less than $10,000. Therefore, the $900,000 offer the village is making for this property, which is well below the initial asking price of $1.2 million, this building is a good value when compared to the alternative to building a new Public Works facility. In addition to these uses for the structure, there's an opportunity to create a 4-acre parcel of vacant land that can be marketed for multifamily residential, also in keeping with the multi-use concept of the town center. Now, it's important to note that the majority of funding for this purchase will come from TIF district sources and not the general fund. Only that portion of the building used for public purposes, for example, the Public Works garage, will be paid for by the general fund. Tom?
I wanted to follow up on another aspect. The purchase of the property is, to the extent the board authorizes to move forward and sign the contract, there is a due diligence period built into the contract, and some of the trustees may have noticed that in the document itself. From the execution date, we'll have 45 days. There are a variety of things we will need to do within 45 days. There are documents related to this building that we have not yet been able to see. We will be able to see those and review those once we sign the contract. So we'll have 45 days to review those documents and make sure there aren't any burdens or any things related to the building that make it untenable for us. At the same time, we'll have the opportunity from a more practical aspect to enter the building, review the mechanicals, make sure the building is suitable. The motion that was made identified two, but there are frankly more, but identified two important ones. One, determining suitability for the partial use in the back half, and have an appraisal done. There'll be other things that we need to do. We'll have 45 days to get that done and make sure that the building is correct value, doesn't have any problems associated with it, either documented or documentation or physical. And so we'll have that opportunity to review it, and it'll be more than 45 days, but it'll probably be 60 days or more before we'll actually be able to close. The last thing I want to say is the document itself also has confidentiality provisions within it, and of course those confidentiality provisions are subject to our obligation to comply with the Freedom of Information Act, but seller wants to have certain confidentiality with regard to details of some of the aspects as we move forward. That's all I have. Tim, if you have anything more?
That's all, thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Attorney Green. Is there any discussions? Trustee Kidd.
One of my concerns that I have is that if a developer with private money cannot come in here and develop town center, how is government going to do a better job than a private company? And I find it odd that we as a government made it a TIF district and we're going to buy the building with TIF money when that money is there for development from private industry. Thank you.
Is there any more discussion? Trustee Beck.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe this is a sound investment, and Tim outlined it fairly well. We've been for over 2 years in our annual retreats talking about what we can do for our Public Works Department to be able to get them in one building. And you know, with the bids that came in, I think it makes sense. I mean, we've got spare space we can use for general public use or other office space for the village itself, a maintenance department for our Public Works Department, and retail space that we can let to, you know, gain back the money that we're spending on this. So I think it's a win-win situation for the village, especially with the fact that we're going to be able to have some outlots that could either be commercial or residential multifamily. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Beck. Are there any more discussions? Trustee Kidd.
Approximately 15 years ago at the Forest Hills Lodge, our forefathers came about the same concerns that we're having when government grows. That's the reason why they made the agreement with Coles discuss maybe two options with our constituents. And I'd be willing to second, stay this over until the next board meeting so I can talk to my voters. Thank you.
Trustee Wilson.
I have some reservations on this too. I guess my first problem is the retail sector in the front. We seem to struggle to get retail into town center, and to add 3 more retail locations seems like a jump. I also did some research, and I go back to 2010 in Jackson, Mississippi, and there's a mall there called Metro Center Mall. And the city bought the old Dillard's building. Dillard's is like a Macy's or what Marshall Fields used to be. And that building was appraised for $1.25 million. It was 172,000 square feet, had 9 acres of parking. It sat vacant since 2004, and in 2010, they inked a deal to buy it for $39,500. I think we can get it for a lower price. I hope that we can if we're gonna move forward with this. And I hope that I'm wrong in a no vote tonight on this. I hope in the years ahead, I look back and say, I should have voted yes for that. But as it stands right now, I can't support this.
Is there any more discussions? Trustee Kidd, please complete your comments.
Yes, sir. Mr. Savage said what was the value of the property?
I didn't comment on a value.
You didn't say 1 point
I
something?
said the original listing price was $1.2 million.
And the current listing price is what?
900,000 was the amount I referenced.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any more discussion? I would like to make a comment on this personally. Negotiating in closed session up to this point has been an absolute necessity. Do not be deceived into thinking something is inappropriate here. All trustees have been well informed. In closed session, all discussions are confidential until publicly placed on an open agenda. When it comes to keeping the public informed on issues, I have been, and I will be, the first person on this board to call for more information to get out and public input. If you listened to Attorney Green a few minutes ago, even the state of Illinois, when it created rules for closed session, recognized that government is in an extreme disadvantage when it has to negotiate a real estate price in the open. History shows that when government is interested in a piece of property, outside players come in to drive up that price. We do not have the luxury of dragging out a real estate purchase, and I, for one, want to get the best price possible for the residents of this village. These are the decisions the citizens have elected each one of us sitting up here to make. The purchase proposal is now in open session, and I expect to receive comments from the public over the next 30 days while we evaluate the property and get an appraisal from an outside appraisal person. And that's all I have to say about it. Is there any more discussion? Will the clerk take roll call, please?
Trustee Snodgrass.
Aye.
Tamman.
Aye.
Kidd.
Nay.
Wilson.
Nay.
Yo.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Mayor Boland.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 nays.
Resolution 80-R14 has been adopted. Next, we have public comment. Do we have anyone who wishes to make a public comment? I see none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.